Hi, Mark here. It's Monday, April the 13th, 7:50 a.m. Eastern, 11:50 a.m. GMT. US session about to get underway. Let's have a look at how the markets shape up to start the new week. US dollar index gapped higher to start the new week, but has been sold off and is coming down. There's the red candlestick. I've got resistance at 98.93. I've got support at 98.66. Small wick at the bottom of the body. Perhaps US dollar looking to fight back or put in a run now that the US session is about to get underway, but weak US dollar to start the new trading week. Let's have a look at the S&P. Looking at the futures market, still an hour and a half until Wall Street opens up. You can see the gap lower to start the new trading day from closing last week at 6,856. Opened this week 6,781. I've got resistance at 6,829. Above that 6,800, small wick at the top. We'll see whether there is going to be a turnaround now that the US session's opening. Wall Street will be open in an hour and a half. We'll see whether there is demand for US equities, if buyers can maintain what they started and fight back, or if we're going to see a sell-off and sellers look down below 6,800 and look down at the support level. Let's have a look at gold. I put in my fib retracement tool here, measuring the recent sell-off from the high down to the low, and here's the fight back, and you can see the 50% retracement level, which sits at 4,750, and that's exactly where buyers got held up. So we'll see whether buyers can break above this 50% retracement of this move lower, a gap lower to start the week, but buyers have put in a bit of a run here, small green candlestick. I've got support at 4,661. I've got resistance at 4,739 for now, sitting roughly in the middle of that range. US gold buyers will look to test this 50% level, look higher, look up at that 4,800 or higher. The gap lower we saw to start the new trading week, if that returns and we do see a sell-off in gold, sellers will be looking below this 4,661 support level for now. Pretty much sideways over the last week. You can see that pretty comfortable between that roughly 4,700, 4,800. There you can see over the past 6 to 7 trading days. We'll see how that develops, starting with how that plays out going into the new trading week. Let's have a look at Brent oil. Sitting at $102. There's the big sell-off we saw last week. That was on the proposed peace plan and the talks between Iran and US over the weekend in Pakistan. Not much encouraging coming out of those talks. Price sitting at above the $100 mark. There's the gap up to start the new week, sitting at $102.30 right now. I've got resistance at 103.59. Buyers will want to test that resistance on the upside, perhaps look higher, whereas sellers will look down at the 159 level. So maintained, even though a bit of a sell-off earlier, did maintain above that 100 mark. We'll see how that plays out today, now that the US session is getting underway. And then we have Bitcoin, sold off strong on from yesterday. There's the sell-off on Bitcoin from sitting around the 73,000 all the way down to just above the 70,000, hang around that level for now. Small green candlestick, but very narrow range. 70.5 thousand is my support, and I've got resistance of 71.3. That's a very tight range for now. We'll see whether sellers continue what we saw yesterday over the weekend and look to trade, test, and break below this 70,000 level. And for the downtrend uh, to be re-established. For now, still an uptrend hanging on, buyers looking to bounce up off this support at 70.5 will look to retest above the 70,000 for now, but sitting in a very narrow range as the US session gets underway. Good trading, and I'll see you at the end of day session.